Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to paint a beautiful autumn themed watercolour piece together. I'll be using the Decadent Pies Watercolor palette by Art Philosophy. It's full of rich, warm tones that are perfect for this time of year. This palette includes 4 metallic shades: white mocha, Earl Grey, pistachio cream and guava meringue. We won't be using these today, but they'll definitely appear in future tutorials. We will, however, be using all the other shades. Throughout the tutorial, I'll be using 2 brushes, the oval wash brush and the size 4 round brush, both by Princeton. I also like to keep a bit of kitchen towel. It's great for blotting your brush if you have too much water. I'm using A4 Canson mixed media paper. We'll be painting this piece freehand, no sketching first, but don't worry, it's simpler than it looks. I'll be painting each element in a layout, but feel free to just practice each piece separately if that's more comfortable for you. In the top corner of the screen, you'll see a preview of the final painting as a reference while you follow along. We'll begin by laying down the base colours for our leaves. Grab your oval wash brush, wet it slightly and pick up the colour apple. For the first leaf, use the oval tip of your brush, press it down and brush it toward yourself while leaning slightly to the left. Repeat the same motion on the right side. Do the same brush strokes on both the left and the right sides to build up the shape. Then, using the thin edge of your brush, paint 2 smaller leaf shapes pointing outward like this. Finally, paint a little shape where the stem will go. Now let's do another leaf using the banana cream shade. This one starts the same way. At the bottom of the leaf, rather than using the thin edge, we're going to use the flat edge of your brush, just as we've done with the top of the leaf. For our final leaf in this set, we'll do a simple oval shape. Start at the top point, press down your brush and then sweep it downwards towards yourself, lifting as you go to create a tapered end. We're using a mix of banana cream and key lime for a nice warm green tone. Now switch to your size 4 round brush. We're going to paint the base for our flowers. With key lime, paint the centres of both flowers. Think of a dome shape with a little stem below and some painted oval leaves on either side. Next, for the petals, mix together banana cream, apple and peach cobbler. To form each petal, start from the outer edge, press the round tip of your brush onto the paper and then swipe inward toward the centre in a slight curve. Keep going around until the flower starts to take shape. Now onto the base layer of our wild berries twig. Using pumpkin, we'll paint some small oval shaped leaves. Don't worry about making them too perfect, slightly wobbly edges give a natural organic feel. For the berries, use the apple. Dot small circles randomly but in little clusters, even overlap a few so it looks more natural. Some can peek out from behind the leaves. Whilst those dry, let's move on to the acorn. Mix pecan, blackberry and apple to create a deep brown shade. Paint little dome shapes for the acorn bodies, just as we did with the tops of the flowers earlier. Then add a bit of banana cream to the same mix and paint the tops of each acorn. They'll look like little caps or hats. For the acorn leaves, we're going for a fun wobbly shape. Start with a simple oval leaf and then, whilst it's still wet, go back in and wave out the edges slightly like I'm doing here. Moving on to our mushroom. Grab your oval wash brush, load it with apple and paint the mushroom cap. Whilst it's still wet, add a little of the pecan colour to create some depth and shadow. For the stem, use the colour pumpkin. Let's move back to our maple leaves now, as we wait for that part to dry. On the lighter leaf painted in banana cream, we'll use pumpkin to paint in the veins. Then around the edges, add jagged points to mimic the shape of a real maple leaf. Once you've outlined it, wet your brush and blend the colour inward toward the centre. While the paper is still damp, dab a bit of the apple right at the edges. The colour will naturally bleed inward, giving us a beautiful wet on wet effect. Now for the deeper coloured maple leaf that we use to paint with the colour apple. Use the high pigmented apple to darken each section. Use a dragging or lifting motion to blend it inward, building a gradient from edge to centre. Repeat for each part of that leaf. Now that the acorns are dry, go back to that pre-mixed brown and paint in the stems, connecting the acorns to the leaves. Add an outline to the acorn body to make the acorns stand out. To blend the line, get some water on your brush and drag in the brown colour, leaving areas of highlight. On the underneath section of the acorn, I'm going to add a deeper brown by adding some pecan to create shadows. To create that bumpy texture cap on top of the acorns, use the banana cream mix with a touch of pumpkin and paint small dabs or stipples. Then with the colour pumpkin, allow areas on the acorn top to also have shadow. Let's return to the oval leaf. Using the same mix of that banana cream and pumpkin, add in the leaf veins. Then blend a darker green to the top edge and a brown tone to the bottom. This contrast adds visual interest. Back to that mushroom. Once the base is dry, outline the stem using pumpkin and add a shadow to the lower right. Paint a bit underneath the cap to show depth. Layer more apple onto the cap to enhance highlights. And then use the colour pecan at the base for deeper shadow. Once it's fully dry, we can add some speckles to the mushroom. If you like a bit of shimmer, we can actually use the white mocha and the banana cream mixed together. If not, that's fine, just use a banana cream. With our berries, we still need to add some small branch lines, so with the brown we can connect some of the clusters of the berries, and then with that same colour paint some veins on the leaves. If you did decide to have some of that white mocha shimmer with the banana cream, you could also add some highlights to those berries, just dotting at that top left corner. And now we are just going to add in those veins. Okay, so our maple leaves should be dry now, so we'll go back in. Use the pecan to add thin veins, working your way around the leaf, making the veins come from the centre stem, leading into the main pointed sections. Then you can also draw some smaller veins coming off of those. And a few delicate lines in the pointed areas of the outer leaf. This really gives it that autumnal dried leaf look. Adding a mix of blended deeper colour on alternate edges can give it much more depth. You can also add a touch of deep colour to the centre for extra crispiness. If you lost the main stem during blending, no worries, we can repaint it at the end. Okay, so we are now going into the final stages. Let's re-add our centre stem to our maple leaf to complete it. I'm loving how the blended layers and wet on wet effect has dried on this leaf. For the flowers, use pumpkin to darken the centre, then drag the colour down each petal. While they dry, paint in leaf and stem shadows. I have a curved leaf here, so to show this, I'm making sure to add shadow underneath where the leaf folds, and then the shadow created directly below the flower head against the stem. To finish the flower centre, I'm going to dot some brown for the middle and then some banana cream for the yellow pollen. Revisiting the acorns one last time, outline the tops and some of the bubbled edges. And lastly, outline the leaves with a green and add a little bit to the base of each leaf too. On the maple leaf, I'm adding one last layer of colour in the centre. Using the shade Pumpkin, blending it out with some water on my brush. When that layer has dried, I'm getting a mix of apple and peach cobbler to paint in the final veins and touches. Starting with an outline in the stem and reintroducing some previously painted veins. I love how the layers are coming together nicely with the different blended areas. The oval leaf can also get some final veins with dark brown and a hint of green on the tip. Now to finish off the flower. Adding a pumpkin and apple mix, let's outline the petals. I'm going to add some apple to bring out certain areas of the petals too. Then add a couple of darker dots at the base of the pollen for more depth. Lastly, add the leaf veins, and I'm going to also outline the stem. Okay, we're almost done. Let's outline the berries and the mushrooms for some final definition. Outlining is totally optional, but I personally love the way it makes everything stand out. For the mushroom, I'm just going to add a bit of outline on the speckles and a little more where I think the shadowed areas would be. As I've painted each piece freehand without a plan, I've noticed a few open spaces, so I'm going to fill those with a few small extra leaves to tie the whole piece together. If you've painted each element separately as a practice, that's perfectly fine too. Feel free to follow along with these final touches. I'll start by painting a tiny green oak leaf that's starting to brown. And maybe a golden birch shaped leaf. Lastly, a small brown oak leaf using the colour pecan. Adding some leaf veins to each one will finish these off nicely. And I think just adding some brown watered down areas to this leaf will give it that crisp effect. And we are finished. I really hope that you enjoyed painting along with me today and that you have learned some new ways to use watercolours. If you did, please like, subscribe and tap the bell icon so you don't miss any future tutorials. New videos drop every Thursday at 5 p.m. I'd love to see your finished work. Feel free to leave a comment and let me know how it turned out. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy painting!